Welcome back. It's part 3 of the T-Rex restoration. A little bit of historical facts. Yes, we've pulled out many Hummers. In fact, this thing has pulled out and rescued 47 rigs. 7 of them have been H1 Hummers, by the way. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're getting ready to remove the rear axles. We've taken out the rear shocks. The panhard bars are disconnected. And you can see this middle drive shaft is missing. Underneath here's the middle drive shaft. It's nicely tied out of the way. Shocks are disconnected, brake lines are disconnected. It's all beefy stuff down under here. And then these control arms, 1/2 inch thick wall. They're stupid, ridiculously heavy duty. But the beauty of this rig is that as we're rock crawling, a rock will come off that tire, even hit this control arm. It's so stout it won't bend. It'll slide right along here to this frame piece, and it just glides right along to this control arm and feeds it to the next tire. Ain't that cool? That's why this thing does so well in the rocks for being such a big truck. Anyways, we're ready. We just need to disconnect those 4 bolts on all these control arms and roll these axles out. But the one challenge I face on this right now is that my jack just is not tall enough to lift this truck up off the axles. So I might have to go get the tractor. Hopefully the tractor can lift this thing up. Now people say, man, that's got to be a heavy truck. It is, but let me compare. So this truck weighs 9,000 pounds. 3,000 pounds of it are in the axles. A H1 Hummer weighs 8,500 pounds. So this one's 6-wheel drive and a Viper powered V10, and it's only 9,000 pounds. That truck over there, when it's just a cabin chassis, weighs 8,600 pounds. Well, now with the camper, it's 13. But so, yes, it's a heavy truck, but comparatively speaking to some of the other rigs out there, it's not that bad. Okay, there's Karina, and the tractor idea worked. We got the T-Rex lifted up. Now I just need to pop the bolts out. Everything's loosened up, and those axles should hopefully just roll right out. We'll see. Maybe my last words. All right, that was not too bad. Axles are removed. We're gonna wheel them into the garage so we can start working on them. And the T-Rex is a 2-legged beast from 6 to 2. That looks pretty precarious, but hey, oh well, don't bump it too hard. Axle tear down has begun, and you can see we're tearing off all the paint and all the years of dirt and mud and grime so that we can paint them. Plus I don't want to be painting them after they get all greasy when we take them apart. So we're going to, this hubs are already flipped. Those hubs on that axle need to be flipped so that we can put the disc brakes. The disc brakes assembly will sit right there. We've got to weld a custom mount to hold the calipers. Most of the axles still have the backing plate. Ours were cut off. Don't know why, but we'll put that back on or build a mount for it. You want to see something pretty? Yeah, fresh from Boyce, this stuff. Oops, one more. Look at that. These are the discs. Rotors for the back. Very nice. So what we're going to do is we've got to take off the rotors from the pinion brakes, and we're going to work on the hub brakes. So you can see I'm pulling the bolts off of the cap, the axle cap. We'll pull that axle out, take this hub out. We're going to put in new seals in it while we're at it, and then put on the disc brake rotor. And here comes the axle shaft. Just like that. And some goop coming out. Yep. So that's how simple it is. Those are big axle shafts, aren't they? Love it. Alright, the axle shaft is out, and this lock nut comes off, and then this is the tab that locks both those nuts in place. You bend one over, and then those things grab onto that guy, hold it in place, and we'll get a little wrench on that, spin that off, the bearings will come out, and this hub will just pop right out. Love it. Now I'm replacing the seals, and they're very easy. The other ones just tap off, and then these just slip on there, and you just tap them in place. I used to have a perfect PVC pipe. I'd slide in there and just tap those in, and it would fit right tight. I don't have my PVC pipe. Can't seem to find it. On these hubs, you have bolts, holes on this side or on this side. So these things are pretty much universal. You can put the hubs out or in. So it's pretty simple. Now that we've flipped the hubs out, these bolts will go in here, where before was the axle cap. Now the axle cap will bolt on this side. And so on this side, this rotor will bolt up. So I gotta put this phone down so I can show you. So we'll just get this bolt started here. See, that's gonna cinch this rotor right onto the hub, like that. Hard to get any work done when your dog keeps bringing you the frisbee to throw. Okay, rotors are on the hubs. Bearings are packed. And dogs are sleeping. Now we're gonna mount these things right on there and then get the front bearings and spindle nuts in place. Easy. Okay, got the brakes kind of mocked up where the calipers are gonna go. Gotta have clearance for the coil here. So I think that's the position where it goes. Got the plasma cutter out. I was just cutting a mount to fit on there. So hopefully I cut it about right. Let's see if it fits. Got the parts mocked up. We're gonna just tack weld the main bracket onto my bracket. We'll go tack weld it onto the axle and then test fit the calipers. Let's see if we got it right. There's my helpers. All right, so this axle is done. This is the rear facing, rearmost axle. Got the mounts made. The calipers hooked onto the rotors. They spin quite nicely. And voila, which is French for, and there you have it. There's the disc brake kits with the custom mounts I made. Since these didn't have the disc plate, the disc brake back, I had to fabricate those. So both axles are now complete with the discs out at the hubs. Now I just got to run brake lines and then reinstall these bad boys under the T-Rex. Then I think we're going to start on body work. Stay tuned.